Part of my work running RXall requires me to speak with many young pharmacists who are looking to get into the RXall platform, and they're seeking our financing program in order to set up and grow. And I have to listen to some 45-minute pitches from a number of young pharmacists every month, and we make a decision at the end of the day on who it is that we can invest into and back on the RXall digital infrastructure platform for young pharmacists starting out a business in the pharmacy industry across Africa. And there's just four key tips that I wanted to pass across, not just to many young pharmacists who would eventually get the chance to talk with me, but also to many other people who are starting out a small business in Africa and across the rest of the world. There are four key things that I would like you to pay attention to. The first of this is that you need to be patient. So, being patient requires you to be able to wait to allow for things to fully develop. Don't be too eager to the point that you're not focused on doing the activity that's right in front of you properly. So, if you have a pitch deck that you're meant to build to present to an investor, you want to make sure that that pitch deck is perfect. You've dotted your I's, you've crossed your T's, you've been able to address all of the key questions that the investor or the financier or the backer that you're pitching to wants to see addressed. You don't show up into a meeting without having done your homework or with you missing out some critical elements of your presentation, for example, like your profit and loss statement, the criteria that you've used to do your location setup and search, and your willingness and desire to continue to run that business. You always need to put yourself in the position of the investor or of the financier or of the backer as to what it is that they're looking for from you, and to make sure you're hitting all of those things and doing a presentation that shows that you've thought through things critically and that you've done your homework. It's not good when we see a lot of young people today that come not just for this type of pitching programs, but also even for just interviewing, who've not done the homework. They don't know anything about the company. They don't know anything about who it is they're pitching to. And they're just coming in and thinking they can wing it. It doesn't work like that. You need to do your work so that you can get people to take you seriously. The second point is location matters. So the location could be physical location or it could be an online location. However the case is, the reason why location matters is because the size of the market that you're addressing matters. If you have a physical location that's in a good place, and when we talk about good place, we're talking of the size of the market that you can serve. If it's an online space, and when we talk about location there, it's not directly related to that. It's directly related to what's the market that you're serving, and is there a large enough addressable market that is interested in what you're selling online. It's the same thing that happens physically when I'm saying, have you set up your pharmacy store or your small business in a location where there's a large enough number of people that can pass in front of it and potentially can walk into that store. We're talking about the market size. Don't do a business where the market size is too tiny. It's not good for your time. It's not good for your investors. It's not good for anyone. You could as well just spend your time writing a book or doing something more tangible than setting up a business in a physical location where there's no one or a very limited population that's coming or living around the space, or doing an online business where there's very limited numbers of people who are interested in what it is that you're having to sell or serve. And there's very quick ways to do that. So for a physical store, you want to be there in person. You want to look at what's the number of people and cars that are passing through. In the African context, usually very good businesses tend to be located in the market spaces because it's in the market spaces everywhere everyone meets. Online, you want to see what is trending. What is it that is having the biggest number of Google searches? What's a Google search trend for that idea? Are there other players, influencers, other business people in the space that are talking about the idea and selling that idea? If you're selling on Amazon, is the item you want to sell, does it rank very high in terms of the trend of items that are in demand? Do a business where there is demand for what it is that you are having to offer. This is Super important. The third part I want to talk about here is be willing to share. We have a situation where many young people want investment, they want a financing line, and they're not willing to give up something in exchange for it. For many young people, we're all learning from an older generation that has grown up not learning to share and to trust other people. But in this modern day and age, to build a successful business, you could either decide to have 100% of zero, 100% of nothing, or you can decide to have 20% of something that is worth $100 billion or more. Take the case in point. There's a Nigerian American or a Nigerian British who recently sold his infrastructure private equity firm to BlackRock for about $12 billion plus. And at the end of the day, when the analysis was done of the ownership structure, he owned just about 17% of that business. But 17% of $12 billion eventually made him cash out with about $2 billion plus in the sale of that business. If he had sat back and said, oh, I'm not going to share my company, I'm going to take money from other people, or in fact, I'm not going to take money from anybody, I'm just going to run my company and do it as by myself so I can own 100% of it, he would not be able to grow it to be such a big giant that it became, that made it attractive enough for someone in New York to make an offer to buy for $12 billion. So when I have a lot of young people coming forward and saying, hey, we want RXOL to invest in us, we want RXOL to back us, we want to run RXOL's infrastructure platform, but you're not willing to give up something in exchange for that, it tells me you're not serious, or you simply don't know what it is that you're asking for, right? You need to be able to give up something for you to be able to get something in return, and you need to grow a business to the point where you are dominant. It's fine if you want to grow a small business and you're just doing that from your own sweat and blood, that's okay. But if you're serious about growing a network, a chain of pharmacy stores or a chain of small businesses, then you will need outside capital to help you do that. So it's really important for many small business owners and a lot of small business owners to really think about what it is they're willing to give up in order to grow. And then the last piece is related to just be focused. Be focused. It gets to the point where you've grown your business large enough where you can begin to diversify into different areas. But when you're starting, focus on one thing and go deep into that thing and be the best at it, be the biggest at it and do it. Before RXOL started diversifying into all these other different products, we started with RX Scanner. We went deep with the RX Scanner product as the first deep tech solution for checking drug quality across the world. And once we had won in that market, it then gave us the opportunity to now expand into digitizing small businesses, starting with the pharmacy sector. You don't come as a young person and then you're saying, oh, you want someone to back you, and then you're all over the place. You're doing so many different businesses. Then the question is, how do I know if we back you today that you will not go and jump into something else tomorrow? So focus is the goal for success. It's the key for success, and it's one of the areas where it's really important as small business owners to do. If you're going after a specific category of business area of specific items that you want to sell, focus on that area, win in that area before diversifying. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.
I am Mr. Small Business Africa. If you're a small business owner looking to grow your business this year, talk to RXOL. They are leading providers of financing, software, and business practices that can help you take your business to the next level. Contact them at info@rxol.net or visit their website at www.rxol.net.